No, by the time that Muhammad Ali was the world heavyweight champion after beating Sonny Liston, there was some grumblings in New York and with the WBA that Ali wasn't a true champion. Now, Ernie-Terrell moved into the WBA title picture. The 6'6", 212-pounder from Belzoni, Mississippi, called the Octopus, was making heavy connections within the boxing game. Now, there was heavy rumors going around that mafia figures were running his career, just like the black Muslims and syndicates were running Ali's career. But when it come down to it, Ernie-Terrell was knocking off top contenders, some of them in questionable fashion, while Ali was looking to find a way to show the world how good he was. Now, they finally fought each other on February 6, 1967, at the Astrodome of all places. Huge crowd. The fight went 15 rounds, with Ali winning through a unanimous decision. Now, it's lost in the sands of time if Ernie-Terrell basically was not calling Ali by his Muslim name and was still calling him Cassius Clay. But according to published reports during a pre-fight interview in the ABC studios, a physical altercation ensued between the two. Terrell called Ali by his birth name of Cassius Clay multiple times. Ali took immediate offense and interrupted Terrell, asking why he called him that. Terrell noted that Ali had introduced himself by that name when he first met, which Ali denied. The situation quickly escalated, and Ali said, "My name is Muhammad Ali," and threatened to make Terrell announce it in the center of the ring if you don't do it now. He then called him an old Uncle Tom, another Floyd Patterson. He used that as a, intimidation tactic against the former world champion. He told Terrell, he said, "I'm going to punish you." Well, anybody watched the fight, there was a lot of punishment. Terrell took offense in turn, saying, "You ain't got no business calling me an Uncle Tom. Don't call me an Uncle Tom, man." Ali yelled back, "That's what you are, an Uncle Tom." To which Terrell responded, "Why are you going to call me an Uncle Tom? I ain't do nothing to you." Ali simply yelled Uncle Tom repeatedly, resulting in a shoving match between the two. Now, Ali only got $600,000 for this fight, entered at 27-0, with the WBC, the ring, and the lineal heavyweight championship on the line. Terrell got $210,000, entered a record with 39-4, 6'6", like I said, 212, and the WBA heavyweight title holder. Now, Ali was heading most of the rounds, and in the first two rounds, Terrell was competitive, but in the third, Terrell's eyes started to swell, leaving him half-blind for much of the match. By the sixth round, Ali was clearly ahead, though Terrell still had moments. The shift came in the seventh round, when Ali landed a left hook that sent Terrell to the ropes and launched a flurry of blows, seeking a knockout. Terrell repelled Ali with his own desperate offensive, but had wobbly legs for the remainder of the match. Terrell landed a hard right hook that forced Ali back to the ropes in turn, causing the announcer to say, "Clay is hurt." Terrell is desperately fighting back. The eighth round went solidly to Ali, battering the wobbly and half-blinded Terrell, though Terrell still landed jabs and would jolt Ali with a hook. This state went on for the rest of the fight, and in the 13th round, commentator and boxer George Cavallo commented that Terrell had been unexpectedly hanging on, and that Ali looked tired, predicting the fight would end with a decision rather than a knockout, which turned out to be a correct assessment. Now in the 8th round, Ali taunted Terrell by asking, "What's my name?" and called him Tom, but ceased to speak to him after this point, not even saying a word to him when the match ended, and both boxers went back to their respective corners. Two of the judges scored about 148-137, and the other had it 148-133, all in favor of Ali. Now, this performance, to many in the media and many fans of Ali, was seen as vicious and made Ali severely unpopular with straight-laced boxing fans, due to accusations that Ali was intentionally dragging out the bout to further hurt Terrell when he could have instead gone for a knockout. Ali himself denied this and said he simply was not capable of knocking Terrell out, saying that Terrell was too determined, he didn't know he could take so much punishment, and I looked at it and I said I had 15 rounds to go and I had to start pacing myself. After the match, though, he continued to insult Terrell, saying Ernie Terrell has no class whatsoever. It's a joke calling him a champion. Nat Feischler in the Ring magazine was critical of Ali's inability to gain a stoppage, unfavorably comparing him to Rocky Marciano and Joe Louis, who he insisted would have no problem knocking Terrell out. Now, in an interview with The Independent, Terrell claimed he made an honest mistake referring to Ali by his birth name. I don't think so. Terrell was determined to put Ali off his game. Now, the fight was broadcast throughout North America at various closed-circuit television and select venues, including theaters across numerous points. The fight also had a live pay-per-view home television broadcast in Hartford. Now, was that the best fight of Ali's career? No, of course not. But what Terrell had done to get to that level of success, there was controversy following him on a regular basis. And let's go over a little bit because I want to give you a little bit of background. Now, Terrell passed away in 2014. Now, at the time of his retirement, he had a record of 46-21-9. Now, big contenders he knocked off at the start of his career included Cleveland Williams, Zora Foley, and heavyweight champion Bob Foster. Now, you're wondering why he got the WBA belt. It's because he had stripped Ali of his title after his agreement to fight a rematch with Sonny Liston. Now, WBA matched Terrell in elimination for the belt 1965, and that's where he won the title. Now, during his reign as that WBA champion, he defended the title twice, beating Doug Jones and George Chuvalo. Most of the boxing community recognized him as the legitimate champion. The win over Chuvalo was highly controversial. Now, the fight to Ali-Terrell was dramatized in the Will Smith vehicle movie Ali. Now, after the loss of Ali, he lost a key fight to Thad Spencer in a WBA heavyweight tournament that was organized after Ali was stripped of his title in April '67 for refusing to fight in Vietnam. He left the sport for 3 years following the loss, but returned in 1970, winning 7 consecutive fights before losing to Chuck Wepner by decision. The Wepner decision was highly controversial, and most who saw the fight thought Terrell had won. Now, the key losses again in his career, he lost also to Manuel Ramos in a 10-round decision in Mexico City in 1967. But again, like I said, the wins over Doug Jones and Chuvalo was 15-round decisions, as were against Eddie Machen. And other key victories, of course, Zora Foley, Cleveland Williams, young Jack Johnson, Amos Lincoln. He did lose to Cleveland Williams in their first fight, but of course came all the way back. And mostly Chicago, and Chicago was good to him because but he did also, the fight against Wepner was something called the vacant National America's heavyweight title, which was probably comparable to the NABF crown. And he also was Chicago champion as early as 1960. So again, a big hero in Chicago. Now, I'm not going to talk much about the alleged mafia connections here. That's for other people to decide. But boxing was full of criminal elements in the 50s and 60s. Again, he was a talented fighter. Did the mafia control him? Not for me to say. It was Ali controlled. Different people had connections with the mafia, directly and indirectly. But when it comes down to it, Ali really punished him in that fight. Now, was he preparing to not go over to Vietnam? He took it out on Terrell. Boys, if there's a color, like what I call a modern colorization of that fight, I'd like to see it, because somebody told me after the 9th round, like Terrell's face was changing tone, like there was so much hematomas for him being struck. He was in severe trouble. And like I said, not the longest career in the world. He only fought technically at the highest level for about a decade. And he fought some tough nuts, but the Thad Spencer fight, a lot of people thought that was going to be an easy one, and I don't think it was ever the same after that, because Thad Spencer, had his number. So that's the legend of the Ali-Terrell fight. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, or subscribe. And don't forget, keep punching. Bye.